On the verge of freezing to death, a man fighting to survive split open a bullet with his knife. To his despair, the gunpowder had been soaked by river water. His entire body trembling uncontrollably, he took out another bullet. If this one failed too, he would freeze to death in the snow-covered wilderness. Fortunately, this bullet had not been damaged by the river. He quickly poured the gunpowder onto a piece of wood and gathered dry twigs to place on top. Then he took out his knife, attempting to strike the bullet's primer to ignite the powder. But his fingers were already frozen stiff, making it impossible to apply enough force. The man had no choice but to place the shell casing on a stick, position the knife tip against the bullet's base, and strike the knife handle with a rock. The gunpowder finally ignited. Along with the man's hope, he quickly built a roaring campfire and hastily removed his damp clothes. He grabbed his flask and took a deep swig, letting the warmth return to his body. Then he poured the strong liquor over the wound on his arm. The intense pain made him cry out in agony. After recovering, he bit down on a strip of cloth and, enduring the excruciating pain, picked up his knife. Without hesitation, he plunged the blade into the wound, trying to dig out the bullet fragment inside. The pain made his body convulse, but through sheer willpower, he extracted the bullet. By then, he was completely exhausted, collapsing face down for what seemed like ages. After regaining consciousness, the man thrust his knife into the fire. Once the blade glowed red hot, he pressed it against his wound to stop the bleeding. White smoke immediately billowed up, but the searing pain caused him to pass out. Danger was approaching. 5 bounty hunters were following his blood trail. The man suddenly jolted awake, seeming to sense the threat. He quickly grabbed his clothes and ran into the forest. After running some distance, he abruptly turned back and headed in another direction. He deliberately created false trails to confuse his pursuers. Then he used branches to wipe away his footprints, concealing his true escape route. With nowhere left to run, he eventually stopped beneath a large tree. A plan formed in his mind. Meanwhile, the 5 killers had discovered his abandoned campfire. The leader examined the footprints on the ground and determined they were deliberately left behind. To catch the man, the leader ordered his men to split up and follow the different tracks. One of the killers followed footprints to the base of the large tree, where they suddenly disappeared. The killer immediately became alert. The man was hiding in the tree above. Noticing bloodstains deliberately wiped away, the killer looked up into the branches. The man remained perfectly still, quietly drawing his knife, ready to fight back. Fortunately, the dense foliage provided good cover, and the killer didn't spot him. However, the man's wound was still bleeding. Just as the killer was about to leave, a drop of blood fell directly in front of him. The killer quickly looked up again. The man instantly threw his knife, successfully striking the killer in the head. The man, weakened from blood loss, fell from the branch, but landed on the killer's body, preventing further injury. He quickly took the killer's gun and clothes. By the time the other hunters discovered their comrade's body, the man had already escaped the snow-covered mountains, successfully evading their pursuit.